fit for a very strong day in Houston, talking about mobility and talking about solutions. I'm Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I serve on the Budget Committee, Judiciary, and the Homeland Security. Many of those committees have aspects that deal with transportation and transportation security, but it is what we did today that is important to emphasizing the importance of the partnership between the United States government and our local leaders and our local entities, such as Houston Metro, the Harris County Commissioners Court, the City of Houston, Mayor Sylvester Turner, and as well the many, many community leaders that we have seen throughout the day. And I'm delighted that our special guest today was the Deputy Administrator of the Federal Highway Commission. We have just finished touring several hotspots that impact the design of I-45 that is impacting so many in this community. And so we were able to visit the 3rd Ward area with St. John's Missionary Baptist Church, just a few blocks from I-45 South. We were able to visit Clayton Homes that has now been taken over, will be destroyed by I-45 South. Bruce Elementary School that we're trying to save to avoid it from being undermined by I-45 South. And then, of course, we were in Independence Heights seeing a church that would ultimately, if it had remained there and not been forced to move, was going to be under I-45 South. But we're here for solutions. And so in addition to the work that was done, we are very glad to be able to emphasize the gigantic impact that the bipartisan infrastructure bill is going to have. Today we announced the dollars that are coming to Texas that are going to fit very well in giving us a mobility system that tracks the leadership of President Joe Biden and the leadership of Vice President Kamala Harris, working with the United States Congress and working with the United States Department of Transportation, Secretary Peter Buttigieg. It is really going to be an important new step in the future, this bipartisan infrastructure bill. Secretary Buttigieg recognizes that people have to speak, and people are going to make a difference with these dollars. I am grateful to have met with him. He is fully committed and speaks often about equity. And so these dollars are going to reflect equity. In addition to these dollars, Houston Metro will have access. They will have access to an enormous amount of grants that will help them grow and build an integrated, interrelated system, which is what we want to see. We're going to be able to build on the 2015 vote that recreated their bus system. And many will be looking for more BRTs, because we want to have a system that responds to climate change as well as a system that responds to the transportation needs of our community. So we are very grateful that this bipartisan bill that I worked very hard on, and in fact was engaged in negotiations with the moderates to ensure a vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill about 3 Mondays ago, and that we would also vote on the Build Back Better bill, which we did right before Thanksgiving. And we are looking to get the bill to the President's desk, we hope before the holiday ends, we hope before Christmas. And that's the good news that we expect. But of the public transit funds, we're here to announce that the state of Texas is going to receive $3,269,170,516. Those dollars will be matched by grant dollars that will be utilized by Houston Metro. They are excellent at receiving grants, and that's going to help. The population of Harris County is projected to be 10 million people in 2040, which makes it crucial to develop a plan that addresses the growing demand for expansion of public transit. And so, approved by voters in November 2019, the Boost Plan includes 500 miles of travel improvements to help ease traffic congestion and provide more ways to move around. The Boost Plan calls for 75 miles of new Metro Rapid Bus, and Metro knows I'm looking for an expansion of the light rail system. And we want to make sure that that door is not closed In fact, we're looking to ensure that we have the opportunity to still look at trains going to Hobby and trains going to Bush Intercontinental. Those are in our future plans, and the bipartisan infrastructure bill is going to give us that opportunity. Texas will also receive, and why we are so grateful that Administrator Pollack is here, $26.9 billion for federal highway aid, and it will be $537 million for bridge replacement and repairs under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act over 5 years. By the way, these are going to create good new union jobs, jobs that our young people, our communities that are in and around this area, our minority communities, our young people will be able to have jobs. And that's what I think is very important. I'm going to applaud that we will be creating with the $26.9 billion of federal highway aid and then $537 million for bridge replacement. I know Houstonians, when they hear this and we mention bridge replacement, they will give us a list and say, there's a bridge I go over, it needs to be replaced. We will be working with the leaders of this community, commissioners and the mayor and Metro and others, to give us guidance as to how that will work. And we expect TxDOT, the Texas Department of Transportation, to work with communities in a way that they are listened to. Texas will receive $3.3 billion under the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act to improve public transportation options across the state. Texas will receive $408 million to support the expansion of the electric vehicle charging network. I'm excited about this. So along with our transit, our highways, we are going to be able to move people and build a network of electric vehicle chargers to facilitate long-distance travel and provide convenient charging options. Again, $408 million for the state. Time is looking for us to change. There are more people excited about the electric vehicle. The bill itself invests $7.5 billion to build over the first ever national network of electric vehicle chargers in the United States. It is critical that we begin to look forward just as we look today. I had a chance to be at the World Petroleum Congress, and their opening remarks talked about climate change and working for energy to become forward-thinking and progressive. This is an exciting time in our history. Texas will receive a minimum allocation of $100 million to help provide broadband coverage across the state, helping 1 million Texans. Texas will receive $53 million over 5 years to protect us against wildfires, that we do have, believe it or not, and $42 million to protect us against cyber attacks. All of us understand what happens when we look up and we all of a sudden say, it looks like I've been hacked. Our various centers, personnel records, medical center records have been hacked. We want to be protected against that. Texas received $2.9 billion, something that I worked very hard on water infrastructure, which means clean, safe drinking water. And yes, I'm going to applaud this, taking the lead out of the water of our children and our senior citizens who live in older homes. And finally, I have the privilege of representing Houston Metro, but I have the privilege of representing Houston Intercontinental Airport. And we're excited about the fact that these airports will receive approximately, along with the additional grant monies that they receive out of the airport trust. And so we're excited to be able to have this kind of contributions to our infrastructure here in Houston. This is the bipartisan infrastructure bill, bringing billions of dollars to the state of Texas, but more importantly, billions of dollars right here to Houston-Harris County. We're excited today for Metro to be hosting our Federal Highway Administration in the name of the Deputy Administrator, and that is Stephanie Pollack. She's been with us all day. She has seen our needs in this community. They are committed to working with us, getting more facts. That's why they were on a bus tour. They met with elected officials this morning, Commissioner Rodney Ellis, Senator Boris Miles, Representative Symphonia Thompson, Morales, and Representative Shaw, all of Metro, and our county attorney. We have had the opportunity for the federal government to listen to us. And I think it is, I have a smile when we have a new breath of fresh air in the federal government where they say our job is to see the American people. Stephanie Pollack is 30 years of experience in transit. She headed the Massachusetts transit system, knows about multimodal means of transportation, and she is here to help us and as well acknowledge this great investment through the bipartisan infrastructure bill. I am delighted to have Deputy Administrator Pollack.
Thank you, Congresswoman, for that generous introduction and also for being such a great host today. It's been really enlightening to see this wonderful city, but also to understand some of the challenges it faces from a transportation perspective and some of the real opportunities. And the bipartisan infrastructure law is all about giving states and local government more resources to address their transportation challenges and to take advantage of the opportunities. It's the largest long-term investment in our infrastructure and competitiveness in nearly a century. It is.
I have to clap on that.
The bipartisan infrastructure law will make life better for millions of Texas residents, create a generation of good-paying union jobs and economic growth, and position the United States to win the 21st century. I won't repeat all the numbers that the Congresswoman mentioned, but I'll mention a few. So as a state, Texas has about 800 bridges that are in poor condition and nearly 20,000 miles of highway that are in poor condition. And so the $27 billion in new formula funding for the Texas Department of Transportation and the about $500 million for bridges will really give the state and other states around the country the resources they need to tackle the condition of their infrastructure and bring it up to 21st century standards, not just fixing pavement or bridges, but also accommodating safely cyclists and pedestrians on those facilities, addressing safety. Safety is a huge priority for us at the Federal Highway Administration. Texas, like most states and the country as a whole, has seen an extraordinarily concerning increase in the number of fatalities on our roadways this year and last year, and so there's an increase in dollars available for safety. There's a new program called Safe Streets for All, which will be a competitive program that cities and towns throughout Texas will be able to get money to help improve highway safety, roadway safety in their communities, so we're excited about that program. The bridge program is the first new dedicated bridge money in several funding cycles. The bridge money was sort of put together with the roadway money, and we weren't seeing the kind of investment in bridges that we know is necessary. So Texas's share is out of a $27.5 billion pot of bridge-only money, which is our largest bridge investment in many years. And then in addition, there's another $12.5 billion pot that Texas and communities will be able to compete for on the bridge side. While I am proud to run the Federal Highway Administration, standing here in Metro, and as the Congresswoman said, with my background being more multimodal, we're also delighted with the amount of transit investment that the bipartisan infrastructure law will enable and will provide Metro with formula funding. That means funding that they automatically get for public transportation at about $3.4 billion, which represents a 32% increase over the last amount of formula public transit funding that was available. So those programs, the EV charging program that the Congresswoman talked about, all of those are really designed to ensure that we as a nation make this transformative investment that is long overdue in our infrastructure. And at the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration, we really stand ready. We partner with states. We don't build things at the Federal Highway Administration or U.S. DOT. We partner with states, we partner with communities, we partner with transit authorities to deliver the resources and also the know-how and the advice and the regulations and the guidance that will allow them to make the best possible use of these dollars to help build our nation and Texas back better. Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. We're glad to be welcomed here by Corinne Patman, who's the chairman of the board. I know that she would be so proud, Administrator, that you've come to see her favorite second home. and we also give you the beauty of looking out and seeing our most colorful trains. I think we have the most colorful trains in the nation. But we're delighted that the CEO and president is here. He is Mr. Transit and always is ready to show off what he has done, but more importantly, what can be done. Tom, we are glad to bring these billions of dollars here, and we're delighted for you to host us today. Tom Lambert.
Thank you, Congresswoman. On behalf of the chair, and I also have board member Sanjay Ram that's with us today. Mr. Ram leads our Capital and Strategic Planning Committee. And as the Congresswoman said, back in November 2019, this community, by 70%, approved us to expand mobility options for this region. So, Administrator, thank you very much for all the work you're doing. Congresswoman, thank you for your leadership. And I want to also recognize my good friend at the Federal Transit Administration, Nuria Fernandez. I want to make sure Nuria is too. She's been very diligent. This is the largest amount of funding going to the Federal Transit Administration in the history. So we're excited about that. What this community has asked for is for us to accelerate this plan that they approved. That's what this funding will do for us, Congresswoman. We're already moving forward with a climate action plan that the Metro Board of Directors will approve at their board meeting in January. We've already got a contract for buying 20 electric buses. We'll be buying 10 paratransit, our disabled community vehicles, in the coming months. We're buying 15 electric cars to make sure we get the experience of our opportunity to accelerate those actions to make this community cleaner tomorrow. The Inter-Katy Bus Rapid Transit project is underway. We're working with the Federal Transit Administration, TxDOT, the City of Houston. Our intent is to have that corridor up and running by October of 2027. We've already been approved by the Federal Transit Administration for the University Corridor Bus Rapid Transit project, a 25.3-mile bus rapid transit corridor that will connect the Southwest region, all the universities, Houston Community College, St. Thomas University, Texas Southern University, the University of Houston, connect all the complete communities in our community, connect people to jobs, to recreation, to health care, and making sure we do it where anyone can access our system in the easiest way possible and the most comfortable way to use the services that we can provide. Universal accessibility. Every trip starts with somebody walking or rolling. The Metro Board has already committed $30 million to improve access to transit stops. Over 1,700 stops out of 9,000 have already been improved. We'll make 9,000 by 2024. This funding will help us do that. We're excited. We have an opportunity now with this funding to seize the moment, to really meet every mode. Because we are blessed with tremendous growth in this region. But the opportunity before us today is looking how we're moving people before we move vehicles. And that's what this is all about. So, Congresswoman, I can't say enough to thank you for your leadership, the opportunity. I was wishing you'd bring me a check today, but I won't say that anymore. But okay. Thank you for your leadership on that. We're excited about the opportunity. We're moving forward with the Moving Forward plan, and we're committed to deliver it to this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Let me, we want to at least have our community leaders just stand with us over here. Just, you can come and stand. Those of us on the bus with us, just come and stand so they know the many constituents. And Administrator, if you just come this way to the front. We thank you so very much. Let me have Sanjay. He has been really part of our day's tour. And we're excited about his leadership. He's at Texas Southern University, among many other places that he's been. And we thank him for having a brief word today as well. Thank you very much. Member of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you for your leadership in making the bipartisan infrastructure bill happen and bringing the billions of dollars to Texas. As a fellow engineer, it's always a pleasure to welcome another engineer from Washington, D.C., via Washington, D.C. from Boston. Madam Administrator, thank you for spending the day in Houston and at Metro. In November of 2019, the voters of the Houston region gave us a 68% mandate to build more transit. So we look forward to working with our partners at the FTA and the FHWA in providing safe, frequent, reliable, accessible, and equitable multimodal public transportation options. Tom Lambert talked about the University Corridor BRT. which is in project development. When built, will be the longest BRT corridor anywhere in the country. So we look forward to that and many more exciting projects. Thank you all for being here.
We want to make sure everybody knows BRT, bus rapid transit. So combination of bus and transit, we want to make sure. Let me conclude my remarks by acknowledging our administrator, acknowledging our CEO, our trustee, but acknowledging our community leaders as they stand behind me. They were multiple these numbers all day long. So let me make these points that should be made. One, in the configuration and the formula. And when I say these things, and I hope it travels up I-95 or takes a plane or takes a bus, we want to make sure that our friends on the East Coast and West Coast get their share. But we want to make sure that everyone knows that rail, transit, multimodal concerns, climate change are happening right here in southern cities. And we want to make sure that we get our fair share of these transportation dollars under the bipartisan infrastructure dollars. So we hope our colleagues will be listening and the formulas will be put together that we will be able to grow as well. We're excited about the electric vehicles and the charges. We want to make sure we get our right amount of configuration. I want to thank the administrator for acknowledging really there is cross-pollination between the Federal Highway Administration and the Federal Transit. They cross-pollinate because freeways cross transit, trains, mobility, and we want to make safe use light rail and others. We know that the Amtrak system is going to be looking forward to those dollars as well. But let me then finally close on the I-45 project that the Federal Highway Administration is very concerned with. They have come to listen, and I can assure you, tens upon tens of individuals were here for the administrator to listen. We want to make it very clear that there is no green light for TxDOT to go forward without having supervision or review or engagement under the protocols, the legal protocols of the Federal Highway Administration, Texas, and the U.S. Department of Transportation. We want to make sure that everyone knows that the idea of moving forward on personal homes, businesses, Department of the Federal Department of Highway. So we are very grateful for that, and we think that we will find a pathway to have the right kind of design, the right kind of project, and when that project is completed, stakeholders who are behind me will not feel discriminated against or isolated or neighborhood separated or homes taken. It'll be a project that will complement the new system of transit where everyone will be able to benefit from it. So, Madam Administrator, we're delighted that you came to listen, and that's what we asked. We said that there will be no decisions made today, but listening is powerful. And we are very grateful for the listening that you have done. And to say to you, I look forward to seeing you in Washington. I thank Secretary Pollack for his willingness to work with us, along with your administrator as well, and also the leadership of the Department of Transportation taking a new step, a new turn, and that is a turn of equity. Any federal funds come, we want it to be done in an equitable manner. So now we will take any questions that you may have. I do want to acknowledge Johnny Motter standing behind me, among others who Johnny has led us with LULAC and has been very instrumental in our discussions today. Any questions? Vic?
Star has not listened to us. We're very concerned with the people that are going to have personal harm, and those are persons of color, business, and others. The investigation has just begun. We're going to be assisting in every way we can. And again, I want to thank the Congresswoman for doing it, making it possible, and bringing the complaints that we've taken all the way to Washington. And we're going to be collectively, blacks, browns, Asians, whites, everyone, that are not satisfied, and that we definitely will not allow transit designed to be crammed down our throats without a fight. Thank you very much.
Again, thank you to Metro for its kindness in facilitating a large part of our program today. And even in their absence, let me thank the tens upon tens of citizens who came out for the administrator to listen to, and all of those who made this day a very positive day. Thank you to your staff. Thank my staff as well, and volunteers as well. I hope that your eyes have been watching the yellow, the red, the blue trains that have been going by. Madam Administrator, I'm going to give you the last word of thanks and the listening part of your day today.
Yeah, no,
you get
just
the last word.
Again, thank you to the Congresswoman. I've been here to listen and learn. I want to thank all the community members who took the time to come out. There's a lot of great stuff going on in Houston, a lot of great ideas on how to spend the bipartisan infrastructure law resources. And, you know, we're here to be a partner. We care about the same things that the Congresswoman cares about. We care about safety, we care about equity, we care about climate, and we're just delighted that with the assistance of our colleagues in Congress and the leadership of President Biden and Vice President Harris, we now have all these billions of dollars in resources to invest in safety, equity, and climate. So thank you.
Transit dollars are